Hi dear audience, hope you would be fine. Today in this short video we would be doing the analysis of Ode to the Grecian Urn, that's by John Keats. John Keats is basically a famous poet of the romantic tendency, and the romantic poets have experimented new sort of the themes. They have experimented with the poetry as well, with the new themes as well, and with the new treatment of the nature in the poetry as well. Ode to the Grecian Urn by John Keats is considered as the masterpiece of John Keats, and similarly, John Keats is considered as the most serious and mature poet, and he is also regarded as the pure romantic poet as well. Means the poet of the pure poetry and the pure aesthetics as well. In this poem, Ode to the Grecian Urn, which is basically a design on an urn. Urn is basically a shaped structure on which there is some inscription of the nature, and there are some people who are going somewhere. And Keats is just looking on that urn and imagining that who might be these people and where they might be going. In the description or in the background, that seems that they people belong to some native town. That might be a very small town, and they might be going to some sacrifice. And there is, in that picture, there is a lover who is going to kiss that his beloved, but he imagines that you are unable to kiss your beloved, but at the same time he pacifies that lover that don't be afraid, as your beauty, means your beloved is not going to be faded down, her beauty would remain consistent as she is painted in the art. So if we keep in mind that in this poem John Keats has used the paradoxes as well. At the same time he is preferring life over art, and at the same time he also have preferred, on some points he has preferred art over the natural life as well. For example, man is not some sort instrument. Man is not the society. Basically, the practice in the life, in our real life situation, we practice our passions, and this is what makes the man as the human. And at the same time, art remains permanent, but what the art he has presented in his poem, that is inscripted on that stone. So though those emotions remain consistent and constant, but they cannot be actualized in the real life situation. So now we come to that analysis of the poem. Thou still unravished bride of quietness. See the images. Still means stagnant, standing. Unravished bride of quietness. Quietness means silence, and bride, which is unravished. That bride is caricatured on that urn, and then he addressed that, thou foster child of silence and the slow times. A man is subject to the time, and usually we have our short spans of time of the 60 years, 70 years, 100 years, but ultimately we have to die. But what has been caricatured over that urn, that is of the slow times, means even time cannot. It's very famous that time kills everything, time kills everyone, time destroys everything. But even though, in spite of being so powerful, time has no influence on that urn as well. And he says that thou art the foster child of the silence, means in this world we have a lot of noises, we have a lot of claims, but no claim of the life is going to affect that urn, and that urn becomes above to the atrocities, to the situations, to the destructiveness of the time. And then he says that thou art such strange urn that even the Salvian historians, the Salvian historians means, as we know that historians always leaves a lot of lies and means they exaggerates the things, but he says that even a Salvian historian cannot express such a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme. So here John Keats seems to be comparing historian with the poets, though it is supposed that it's funny as well that historians are supposed to be factual, but it is a very demise and the sad thing to know that historians has always been talking the flowery tales through the history in the form of the history. So there are a lot of countries and the historians who have their own history. For example, if I talk about myself, the history written by my country people would be flowery in its own sense, while it would be negating the facts of the who might be our opponents. So historians have been constructing the flowery tales, but over here, as poet is supposed to be an imaginary, and he is supposed to be more flowery and more sweet in the rhyme than the historian. Even he says that historian cannot express, though they are flowery. Here maybe the style on the historian as well, but John Keats replies that poets are more imaginative and more flowery than the historians. Even the poets have defeated the historian in telling the flowery tales. And then he says that what leaf-fringed legend haunts about thy shape, of deities are the mortals of the both. He is very basically, if you look at this question, the structure of the poems, he is basically asking the question. This becomes a situation of dialogue. It seems that as John Keats is just addressing and asking the question to that urn, that who those people you are, where are you going, what are you doing, what's your structure like this, you are belong to the deities or the mortals. So there are a lot of question marks in this by the end of that. So it makes it more dialogic, means dialogical poem as well. So he says that what thy shape haunts you, you are not mortals and you are not deities. This is basically the if we talk about the concept of hero as proposed by Aristotle, he is also of the view that the hero should be less than deity and more than the mortals. The same he is asking the question, and then he gives the third option as well, that you might be of the deities or of the mortals or of the both. In the temple or in the dales of the Arcady, Arcady is the place. He says that dales means valley. That you people might be of some temple or the dale of Arcady or the valley of the Arcady. You are not known people. As this question marks reveals that he might be guessing about their location, about their place, but he is not confirmed. So the imaginative things are not confirmed. Definitely he is talking about the imagination. And then what men are the gods are these? Even over there he is talking about the deities and the mortals. Then he asks the question, what men are the gods are these? One thing you might be knowing that in sense of exclamation, in the sense of wonder, we usually put the sign of exclamation by the end. But over here in this structure of the poem, we are not showing any sense of that sign of exclamation, but we are having the question mark. So this question mark never deters the sense of wonder of the poets. This question mark also includes a sense of wonder and a sense of question as well. What maiden's lore, what mad pursuit. This mad pursuit refers to the passion and emotions and the maiden's lot and the gods and the men's what struggle to escape. he's asking that why the people are going, what sort of this life is basically more Sisyphus, the myth of the Sisyphus, that is means consistently a struggle and escape, and consistently a struggle and escape, and men are bound and indulged in that burdens of the life. So everyone in this life unconsciously tries to unburden and escape from this life. So he imagines that there might be the possibility that these people might be trying to escape from their situations. And then he says what pipes and the timbrels they are holding in their hands, means they were having some lutes and flutes as well. And then he asks the question, what wild ecstasy. Even if we for you to make in an interesting question mark for you, I count the lines for you people for this one: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 6 lines, he put the question mark: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He put the 7 question marks after the 6 lines. So it makes interesting that this question, he is not knowing anything about these people, as his guesses, foster child, he is basically addressing this or that introduction. Then he asks a question marks, and there are 7 question marks, which are more in number as well. A poet never asks so much questions consistently in a single stanza as well, or in the single poem as well. Then he answered to that mighty crew of art, that he says that it is a universal rule that heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter, and therefore you soft pipes play on. He urged that though those pipes are not going to be heard by the actual people, by the real people, but he says that though we are unable to understand your music, but your music is more interesting to the human spirit, so keep it on moving. As we have studied, we know that the poem of the Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth as well. In that Solitary Reaper, the language and the tongue and the song of that Solitary Reaper is not apprehended or comprehensible to that of the William Wordsworth, but he says still that song suits and entice to the spirit of the Wordsworth as well. So the same is case over here with that of John Keats. He says that though you are the bride of silence and your flute is not heard to everybody, including the poet as well, but he says he requests that still play on, not to the sensual ear. This song is not going to attract the senses of the man and a man's ear, but more endured pipe to the spirit of the deities of the no tone. Even this song does not, as song is gifted by the God, the sweet voices are gifted by the God and are practiced by the men. It means that God loves the music as well. While we charge the music, that music is very probated in some religions as well, but if God has given sweet voice to the humans, that it means that God loves the music as well. Then he says that, "O fair youth, beneath the trees thou canst not leave thy song." This seems some sort of the permanence of the art, and he says that thou cannot leave your song. As you know that our singers, after 2 or 5 or 10 songs, their throat got down and they are unable to song or perform more. But in this situation, he says that you might be flowing or singing your song of the love beneath these trees forever, and you would be the young as well, and you would be bearing. But one more thing, he says that nor ever can those trees be bare. Those trees would be the permanent and the constant one. And then he says that the bold lovers never canst thou kiss. Though the lover is bold, though the lover is permanent, but this is the very sad aspect of the art, that he says that thou canst kiss thy beloved. This is what makes the art and the life different. In real situation, in real life, one lover can kiss his beloved, but in art it's not possible. So thou winning near the goal, yet he says that though you are very close to the winning of your goal, you are going to find your love, but you cannot. But at the same time, as this was a grieving situation for the lover, at the same time he solaces or pacifies that lover, that do not be grieved, do not take grief of that, as she cannot fade. Thou love and thou beloved are the constant, while in our real life situation the beauty of our beloved is not permanent, and our passions are also not the consistent and the permanent. Is it not the strange that in real life situation we should be, at the one time we should be in love to our beloved, and by the next moment we should be, or the next day we should be hating our beloved. So these fluctuations in the real life situations makes also, though they are real, but they are unjustified as well. So but in the situation of the art, he says that your beauty would never be going to fade away, and thou hast not thy bliss, though you cannot bliss, but she cannot be faded. So therefore you would remain forever, and forever wilt thou love, and she would be fear. This is what makes the art over more preferable or more permanent than the life. A happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves, nor ever bid the spring adieu. And that interesting situation is that spring would remain forever, and happy, melodious, unweird, for every piping songs forever new. This word forever new is very interesting, and means that you would be casting the new songs to your viewers as well, and more happy love, more happy love is possible, though only art as well. And then he says that forever warm and still thou to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young, as this is not possible in the real life situation. At the same time, he says that all breathing humans passion for above, means though we have passions, but what the passions have been depicted in that piece of the art, and they are above the human passions. All our human passions are the momentary, and they keep on changing from time to time, but all the human passions which have been encoded in that piece of the art would remain forever, and that leaves a hurt high sorrow and cloud, a burning forehead and a parching tongue. Who are these coming to the sacrifice? He just remain indulged in that piece, but suddenly he asks the question, who are these coming to the sacrifice? To what altar, green altar, O mysterious priest, leadst thou that heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with the garlands dearest? What little town by the river or the seashore they may be? Are the mountains built with the peaceful citadel? He asked that might be the people they are coming from, that might be very mountainous one, that might be a very little town, that might be by a riverside or by a seashore, and is emptied of this fog. These people, now he imagines that all the people of the town are over here. Behind that, where there was their town, that would be the empty one. Now he is imagining those empty houses where these people are not residing. That those houses becomes more mysterious. Those empty houses become more mysterious to the poet, as these people are mysterious to the poet over in that piece of the urn as well. And little town, thy streets, to my knowledge or to my understanding, the poet seems to be more hunted or longing for those houses, empty houses, and thy streets forevermore will silent be, and not a soul to tell, why art thou desolate, can ever be returned, as these people are going somewhere and they are not going to come over back to that town. Here, though Keats is imagining that houses, but here in these lines it seems that he is lamenting. John Keats wants a man in those empty streets to tell about those people, that who were these people, where they have gone, what was their sorrows, what were their happiness. Here John Keats seems to be demanding the company of a man in those to tell those secrets, and he wants to know those secrets of the towns, of the town people as well. And by the end he says that, oh Attic shape, fair attitude, with bride of marble, men and maiden, overwrought with the forest branches and the trodden weed, thou silent form, thou does tease us out of the thought. This is very interesting one, that he says that this shape, these maidens, these marble men, these branches of the forest, these trodden weed, all are silent. And he says that thy thought means tease me, that and this also as does the eternity as well, means he says that eternity also teases the man, as men ask a lot of the question. For example, how the eternity tease, we don't know the existence of the humans, and we also do not know that where the humans go after their death. So he says that this word is a more cold pastoral, and we don't know about the nature, as nature teaches to the thought of the man. Similarly, he says that all this graphic picture of the urn also teases to my thought. But he says that when old age shall this generation waste, means we the people in the real life would be the dead one, then he says that thou shalt remain in the midst of other woes, means we the people of the real life have a lot of woes, and at the destruction of this life we would also be very in the situation of woe. Though life is woeful, but still it is cherishable to live on. But he says that then ours, a friend to men, to whom thou sayest a beauty is truth and truth is the beauty, that's all you must know on the earth, and that's all you need to know. He says that out of our generation waste, when we the old people would be died and this generation would be lost, then thou shalt remain amidst what? Amidst our woes, other woes, means this life is full of the woes, but what is permanent and what is out of, in a situation of the binary opposition, on one side is the woe and on the other shelf would be the players and the beauties of this art, this Attic shape, this fair attitude, this bride of marble. But what would be the missing? Old age generation would be missing, means the life would be missing, but art would be the permanent. So if we go back to our themes of this poem, we are able to know that he has compared the life of the art and life. On some grounds art is permanent, while on some grounds in the real taste and the situation are the more preferable in the life as well, but the life is temporary and the art is permanent. Yes, now coming to the question, what's more interesting for me, that is that haunting image of those empty streets. I am going to conclude that Keats wants the company of men as compared to that of the beauty of the art, as man may be more sophisticated, man may be more solacing, and the company of men might be more cherishing to the John Keats. As we know that from the life of the John Keats, we see that he has been facing the failed love as well, the situation of failed love. Therefore, it might be the possibility that he may be calling the Fanny Browne that though thou beauty is the permanent, but that is of no use if it has not been shared with me. So this is very interesting poem. This is very lovely poem. I consider it as a next to the masterpiece, as S.T. Coleridge has presented the Kublai Khan. That was very imaginative poem, and the a situation of some unreal world has been imagined in that poem. The same has been imagined over here as well. This is a very great poem. So keep on reading. If you have any questions, you may ask me as well.